Morning, everyone. I'm Grant, and this is Aubrey.
Yeah, I'm not Brian.
All right.
I'm going first. Okay, sweet. Can I get everyone to stand up, please? Everyone stand up? Come on, I've only got 2 hours. All right, can I ask those people who are not directly involved in marketing in your organisations to sit down, please? So you're not a marketing person, you don't have anything to do with marketing. I'm in sales, so please don't take offence when I say you don't do anything with crayons or colouring in stuff. Okay, the rest of you are marketers? Excellent. Can everyone stand up, please? Okay. Can I ask all those people who your initiatives are not the genesis of your company's strategy? Okay. So when you come up with an initiative and you think the business would benefit from it, is that the genesis of that initiative that sales marketing, customer success and product will then bandy behind you to make happen? So if that happens, stay standing. If it doesn't happen, sit down. Tough question? Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about today, right? We're going to talk about how our business in a very short period of time, so you can all sit down now. I was joking about the 2 hours. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So a little bit of a spoiler alert. We're going to talk about how Parallo went from doing things traditionally to how marketing became the genesis of our strategy across those 4 business units. Okay, and we sort of accidentally stumbled across it, but we were lucky enough that we came across someone that showed us how to do it and how to do it properly. So we're here just to share you with that journey that we're on, and how we went from surviving to thriving, which is what we're doing at the moment.
Yes, excellent. Thanks, Aubrey.
Thanks, Grant.
As has been shared already, the market is constantly changing, right? The market is being disrupted. We're in a period of heightened change, and we absolutely have to adapt. For us, our customers are SaaS customers. Funding is drying up. Funding is harder to get. Businesses are going back to basics, and the CEO is taking an even more important role, right? So they're scrutinizing costs. They're looking at where those costs do not produce a direct return, and they're cutting. And oftentimes, marketing investment can be the first on that chopping block. And but we're here to help you make sure that that isn't the case. So as Aubrey posed, the question is, why do some companies and marketing teams just barely survive? And why do some thrive? And so, yeah, today the conversation will be about that, but we hope to, I guess, enlighten you and help you understand how you can add even more value to the business as a marketer. You know, you're not just this thing on the side that colors pretty pictures. You know, you're integral to the business. And so that's what we'll share today. And I guess in doing that too, part of this shift is that we need to stay close to our customers. It's all about the customer. And so how can we stay close to the customer through that? All right.
Me?
That's you.
Just a quick intro to Parallo. We're a crayon company, which is a large Scandinavian board company.
Not playing with crayons.
Yeah, that's part of that joke. It's a crayon joke. So what we do, and efficiently, is we are not a SaaS company. Maybe that's one of the questions I should have asked. How many people here are SaaS companies? So we are not a SaaS company, but we look after SaaS companies. And we associate as a SaaS company. So we see ourselves as a SaaS company. We see ourselves as our customers. We did all those courses where you've got to look like your customer for your customer to buy off you, etc. So we associate as a SaaS company. We have a number of initiatives that we do. We try and think, act, and look like a SaaS company. All our staff are way more younger than me. So that helps with looking like a SaaS company as well. But we basically manage their public cloud infrastructure. So a little bit about us. This isn't the sales pitch, but most SaaS companies in New Zealand are on Azure or AWS. Most SaaS companies start with 3 guys and girls sitting around a room, and they go, I've got this great idea, let's run it. And the other 2 go, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'll do the sales, I'll do the technical stuff. And then the other person says, well, I'll help you with the marketing. And then the company grows to a point where they suddenly go, hey, this is actually working. We've got a really good idea here. Let's actually make this work, right? So they leave their real jobs, they put their houses into the bank's hands even more, and they get this business up and running. And then they hit a glass ceiling when they need to bring in some what we call non-differentiating aspects of the business, which is looking after that AWS architecture, that Azure architecture, And that looks after their environment because they're now out in the world. They're hearing all this scary stuff about security and hackers and what's happening with people that go into non-secured areas. And they're needing DevOps. They're needing all these roles where they're not actually going to help them build their product, right? These roles are not going to help them become unicorns overnight, and that's what we do. We bring that technical skill, we bring our automations, we bring our 11 years of skills in that area to these customers so that they can focus on building their product. Okay, is that enough?
Yep.
I'm in sales, I can keep talking.
Next one.
I'm still going.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so a little bit about our journey. Started way over here, finished way over there. Next slide. So basically the key points on this is that we had one customer, again, those 3 technical people. You can see where I'm going to go here with where we're at today with 3 technical people. We're a technically organised organisation. We had 10 customers in 2019. In 2020, a company called Ripe. We were actually Ripe's largest customer with Azure. And they said, we like what you guys do. We also don't want you to move your Microsoft business to another distributor. So we'd like to buy you. So they bought us, and while that due diligence was going on, a company called Crayon, based out of Oslo, Norway, who's a reseller, turned around and said, hey, Ripe, we're struggling to get into Asia Pac. We're going to buy you guys because you're the dominant player in Asia Pac. Who's this Parallo company? And in their due diligence, they looked at us and said, hey, that's some good shit there. You guys are doing some really good stuff. We actually want that stuff up here in Europe, and we want that stuff up here in North America. So all of a sudden, we were looking to grow into Australia. We'd hired some salespeople into Australia, and then we had this very rich parent come to us and say, right, we need what you do over in North America and Europe. But as we heard in the last slide, everyone's doing their own research first. No one in those markets knew who we were. So although Crayon thought it was a really good idea that we should be up there, that buyer's journey where they've spent 70% of their time researching what they want to do before they buy off us, no one had heard of us. Our marketing had been solely New Zealand and Australia. So we had some challenges, we've got some challenges, still have, but they're there. And now December 22, we had 60 cloud platform management customers. So that's our managed service. So our core product is our cloud platform management, where our customers pay a small monthly amount to get access to all our technical resources. So we had 60 of them, and this year we're looking to double. So in a very short period of time, we've gone from just a couple of handful of customers to almost doubling in 12 months.
All right, so we share that because one of the catalysts for growth is funding, right? And so oftentimes as a smaller company, there's things you want to do, but you can't do until there's funding available. And so for us, we had some funding with this acquisition from Ripe, but we were still we found ourselves in the slow lane, and we were going nowhere fast. So let me explain. And some of you may have these same issues yourselves. So one of the things we're looking at here is that, you know, marketing in the early days when we had funding, we spent the best part of $500,000 with very little to show for it. So there was a massive reliance, I guess, on external agencies and without really understanding the customer. And so that was marketing. That's where marketing was. Sales with the investment, the business brought on a VP of sales who came from, I guess, a large enterprise, but the cultural fit was not there, and you know, didn't really fit with the SaaS companies that we were working with. On the product side, you know, our business was founded by engineers, technical people, so all the product, all the documentation and everything else was all technically led. Again, they probably thought it was good, but we struggled with customers. And then from a customer success side, that was being looked after by founders, and because they got a day job too, it was very reactive, and customers weren't getting what they wanted. So this is, you know, us trying to gain some traction, but really not getting very far very fast. And some of you may be there, and I guess at this point, the idea is that, hey, we just got to keep on going, we've got to keep rolling, and we've got to keep improving. And so then we started to pick up the pace and gain some traction. And so part of this then is about bringing in the right hires. And I know earlier we talked about bringing sales and marketing close together, so we'll talk about that. And we're also going to hear a little bit about people. But for us, people were a key part of us, you know, gaining some traction and moving a little faster. So for marketing, we built our internal marketing expertise. We actually had people in-house, which was new, and we've slowly built that team. With people in-house, we could get a better understanding of our customers and better understanding of our market, so we had better data, we were closer to them. From a sales perspective, that VP of sales left, which was fantastic, and
yeah, it wasn't me.
He's still with us. What happened, we came across or got introduced to the opportunity around sales development reps and outbound marketing, and for us that really, really worked. So we built that up and we realized, hey, we were getting more I guess sales conversations with our outbound marketing than we were with our inbound marketing. So you know, a sales conversation might cost, you know, $500, say $300 to $500 with the outbound, but you know, many thousands of dollars through inbound. So you know, we started to think about this, and the game started to shift. About this time too, new products were being added. So we moved into AWS. We added new geos. So we pushed into Australia. We pushed into Singapore. With the product, you know, the product was continuing to be evolved, but again, no real customer insights to help that. And from a customer success team, we started building up our customer success team. But the challenge with the customer success team was that, you know, AWS customers are different to Azure customers. They need different things. Australians are different to New Zealanders. Dare I point that out? And Singapore, again, was a completely different market. They operate differently. And so what we had for the very first time is we introduced quite a bit of customer churn. And our customer success team that we were just building up, all of a sudden they're like, hey, what are we doing wrong? Because you know these customers are churning. So while we were picking up the pace, while we were gaining some traction, we were still siloed. We were still not going anywhere fast, and we still weren't really talking to each other. Yeah.
That's us. So in August, September last year, we went to SaaSta. Has everyone heard of SaaSta? You SaaS people? Has anyone been to SaaSta? Has anyone been to SaaSta? If you haven't been to SaaSta, I would seriously recommend making the investment to go, and not going by yourself. Take a bunch of people as well. The networking and the experience you get as a team is fantastic. It's the largest SaaS conference in the US. They'll tell you it's the largest in the world, but it is the largest SaaS conference in the US, and the speakers are outstanding. The keynotes are brilliant. A lot of it was around funding, VCs, how can you make your path to profit look more visible to VCs, etc. But while we were there, we bumped into, can you make this slide slow down a bit so I can see the notes? Because, you know, being in sales, I've got a 5-second memory and I've forgotten everything. And at one of these keynote events, there was a guy called Sterling Snow from a company called Divi, and he was talking about a growth team. And we didn't go to this seminar together. We all just ended up being there. There's only, you know, 2,500 to 3,000 people in these rooms. So we all came in, and when we all met up afterwards, we all came together and said, I've just been to this fantastic presentation, realised we'd all been to the same presentation. And sorry, I better tell you who was there. There was sales, myself, there was marketing, Grant and Aubrey, there was Kat, who's our customer success manager there. So that's the four of us. During the day, we're at loggerheads like this until we went, and then went to SaaS, and we managed to get drunk enough to take a photo, us all holding hands and smiling like we like each other. But that's sort of, it's a bit of a flippant comment, but that's almost like what it was, right? We were four separate, including product who wasn't there. We were four separate business units, secretly all trying to achieve the same thing and not telling each other. And then it wasn't until we all turned up to this one presentation completely by accident, because I wasn't going to share which talks I was going to go to with Grant because he might come with me, and vice versa. So we all ended up at this talk where they talked about building a growth team and about how those four business units are all, like I just said, trying to achieve the same thing together. And we all came back from that presentation. We got together that night. We're all sitting around the dinner table, and we all realised that, hey, this is actually where we need to be, and this can actually work. And when we started diving down into everyone's problems and how the growth team, us acting as a growth team together and not going to management and asking for permission to do it, let's just make it happen. Let's not change any reporting lines. Let's not do anything crazy like that. Let's just sort of say, hey, we've acknowledged we're all trying to pull in the same direction, or we're all trying to go in the same direction. Let's just get together. We'll all have to go and talk to the product guy who's highly technical, and drag him out from under his technical rock and get him to look up into the bright light, and get him to pull in the same direction as the rest of us. But that was really the beginning, that what we were trying to achieve was everyone had the same problem, so much that this guy was standing up in front of 3,000 people at SASTA talking about it. And then individually we all got together and went, hey, did you go to that last presentation? It was amazing.
And I think the key part of that is that, we were talking in terms of our customer, right? So, I was thinking about customer from a marketing perspective, and Aubrey from a sales perspective, and Kat was thinking about customers from a CS perspective, but it was putting ourselves in the customer's shoes, but it was actually that sharing amongst ourselves, putting ourselves in the customer's shoes, putting our own agendas and disagreements aside, and having those conversations. So we didn't intend for that to be the outcome, but yeah, certainly that was the outcome. And so as part of this, when we came back, we actually found that we had switched gears. So we had stumbled upon something that actually made a fundamental shift to our business. We weren't on our own, I guess individually. We had small teams, just myself and Brian, our marketing team, and probably many of you have small teams. But we were part of this much bigger team that all had the single-minded goal around the customers and around revenue. And things seem to be a little bit easier when you're not trying to do things by yourself and you've got more heads approaching the same problem. And so for me, this is my artist depiction. I should have put it into an AI tool, but thanks, Aubrey. Around just the bringing together of these teams. So I want all of you to understand that marketing is and can be integral to the whole business, right? So marketing is the pointy end of the stick, and marketing is also the glue that can hold everything together. So for the last few moments, I guess I want you to enlarge your vision that marketing is just not the box that you sit in. Marketing impacts the whole business. So we came back and, marketing now impacts sales because we provide sales enablement materials. We provide understanding about the markets, understanding about the lists we're going to go after, the accounts that we're going to target. That's what marketing provides to sales, so sales can then close those deals. Marketing also supports the customer success team. So we've heard a bit about acquisition, but over the next few years, you're going to hear more about customer retention. How are we going to retain customers? Because we don't want them to churn. And that's more important than acquiring new customers, right? So marketing absolutely has a role to play with retaining customers. So part of that is understanding the data, part of that is communication to existing customers and upselling, cross-selling, but there's a big role there. Marketing also works with product closely, right? So marketing shouldn't be the last one to know about something and that then comes and says, hey, can you take this to market? So marketing is now working with product and CS, so customer success, to talk about the needs of the market. And then we work with sales and develop sales materials to then take that to market. And likewise, the other teams within that, so customer success now works closer with sales. Because before, remember, we got that churn, we were selling to markets that we couldn't add value to from a customer success point of view. So now we're more aligned. One of the concepts that has stuck with me, one of the many concepts from SASTA, is when we talk about funnels, we don't talk about 3 different funnels. It's not the prospecting funnel, the sales funnel and the customer growth funnel. It's all one funnel. And so because it's one funnel, we need to treat those people as one, and we, as an internal team, we also need to align ourselves to do the same. So, yeah, as a result, you know, our overall revenue is up. Our customer churn is back to minimal, and I guess especially in today's market, we're changing. So just very quickly, so our market is changing. As you heard, our market is SaaS companies. Now, funding is no longer a given. Multiples are down, so that means their company is worth less than they thought it was. And when they come to the next funding round, they're not going to quite get as much. And because of that, these SaaS companies, and many of you, are preserving cash runway. So at some point, the money is going to run out. And so we need to do everything that we can to improve that and cut costs. And investors are also seeking, I guess, instead of growth at all costs, they're seeking efficient growth or profitable growth or a path to profitability. And so this is now the new, I guess, our new understanding of our market that we need to work within. It's a much more volatile environment. And you know, we don't have all the answers. We don't know, you know, there's no rule book for this. And you guys will find yourselves in the same boat. There's no rule book. But because we're not solely marketing, and because we're working with sales and all the insight that comes from them, and customer success and all the insight that comes from them, and our product guys who are technically brilliant, we have the absolute best chance of success there. And so, yeah, we are adapting. We're changing our product. We're changing how we provide transparency to customers. We're changing our I guess, our market fit. So one of those examples is we used to do a lot with smaller customers. We're now de-risking. We're moving up the stack a little bit. You know, there's lots that are changing, but also because we're then talking about it, we can make those adaptations a lot faster.
We're coordinating it better. I don't just go, hey, we're going to move up the stack, and then Grant comes to me and says, Aubrey, we've had a whole lot of hits on our website from organisations in the thousands, yet our website is designed to be written for organisations of 20 users plus, right? So we're doing it at a coordinated level, as well as customer success. Customer success came to us and said, hey, our value proposition is moving up the stack. We're finding that we're getting a lot better net promoter scores from our larger customers than our smaller customers. You know, so, and you can stay, and then we went to product, and we said, right, product, customer success went to product and said, hey, these features that we've got in our tool set are working really, really well. These ones aren't. And of course, the first thing product says is, well, it's my baby, don't call it ugly, right? So, but because the three of us were working together and we could see that we were moving up the stack, marketing was doing marketing qualified leads from larger customers. We were winning deals of larger organisations, and customer success was seeing that their motions and what they were trying to do with their customers was a lot easier. We could get a lot more data out of the customers, and product could see customers using their product in a live fire environment and then producing iterative improvements to make it even better. Right. Sorry, Grant, I took over there like Silas does.
You're up.
Oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my one. Oh, cute elephant. Is this mine? Huh, new to me. So funding opens doors. Okay, so build a relationship with the CFO in your organisations. Hire and retain the best. We have we have 4 key values that we live by, and we're quite open in our business about telling our staff members that we hire the best so that you work with the best. Guess what? That makes you the best, right? So we're very open and obvious about one of those statements. We have a couple of others. One of them has swear words in it, so I won't say that one. But you know, that's part of our core value, is that we hire the best, i.e. you are the best. Okay, get close to your customers. I mentioned our Net Promoter Score. Our Net Promoter Score is currently 60. In our other part of our business, our Net Promoter Score is 100. They say you can't get it, but we've got the stats that prove it. And then last week, when we did our latest Net Promoter Score survey, we had a bunch of 9 and 10s. Which is fantastic, from new customers, and one from, I think, our 3rd customer who's a $1 billion business. But then we also had a 0, right? So that brings us down to earth with a big thump, where we had a terrible onboarding process. And we're taking that seriously, but we're also taking the 10 seriously, right? It's not so much about looking at where you failed, but it's also looking at what made you successful. So our CEO and our head of product are doing customer tours at the moment, right? So they're going around seeing every single customer and asking them, why do they continue to give us this money every month? Why do they continue to reference us to their customers? Because our new customers want to know, because that part of marketing with the big blue arrow, right? Obviously, the whole thing about Net Promoter Score is you want to get your customers talking to their colleagues in that big blue arrow piece, right? And then when they're doing their own research, they go, well, let me have a look at what Grant said about this Parallo organisation. What else have I got here? Get close and stay close to your customers. Well, that's a customer success. Motion, product market fit isn't something you find just once. I'd have to say that I did a presentation recently on building high-performing teams. And when I was doing my research for that, what came across is you've never actually achieved building a high-performing team. You build a high-performing team based on the personalities that you have in your team, and it's a little bit like tending a garden rather than building a statue, right? So people who say, I've got a high-performing team, I'm going to move on to my next challenge, have just built a statue, right? And that statue exists for a period of time until someone resigns or until you grow and you need to get more people on the team. That high-performing team, the dynamic changes. So managing and building a high-performing team is an ongoing activity you need to do, just like product market fit. You need to work for that, and you're not going to get decent product market fit unless your customer success people who are talking to your customers is talking to product, right? And customer success is talking to marketing so that they can tell sales what customers are buying from us, what the why is, the reason behind the why behind the why, as some people say. And that way we're all communicating and telling our prospects and our existing customers what we can work with together. And so, can you scroll it? There we go. And so what we've learned is that aligned growth is so much better, and if you can break down those silos, be adaptable and master the change together.
Awesome. So just to reiterate, I guess, the crux of, what we wanted to share is that, in changing environments, absolutely you need to work with the others in your business and learn from each other. So if you haven't already, take your head of sales, take your head of product, take your head of CS out for lunch, have a conversation with them, figure out what matters to them and how you can help them achieve what they want. If you haven't already, get some face time with customers, really try to understand, like the CS team, what those customers need. Yes, you'll want to align on shared goals, so revenue targets, customer success targets, NPS targets, whatever is meaningful to you as a combined team. And I guess the other side of that is you need to stop doing what only matters to marketing. That may be a bit provocative, but if something only matters to you, you need to rethink that, and you need to think, well, how can what I'm doing add value to sales? How can I draw a line between what I'm doing and to customer success? And so with all of that, just to finish up, I guess we need to align as a team. We need to have fun together, and that's going to be the way that we thrive instead of just surviving. So thank you.
Thank you.
Wait up, guys. Stop doing what only matters to marketing.
How are you going, Aubrey?
Grant Osborne. Love that quote. One of the really interesting observations from the New Zealand Tech Marketer awards entries that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks is that thought and follows through to engaging with all the departments across the business, right? And so how is that marketing strategy influencing and being influenced by and supporting those other those other parts of the business, which is, I think, is really, really key. I have a couple of key questions for you. Was there any pushback? Was there anyone internally that kind of went, what the? I kind of like my little, slice of the world, and, we're changing it all and racking up, and why is marketing owning this?
You start.
I'll start, you finish.
Yes.
We probably got a lot of pushback, which was surprising from our CEO and founder. As I said, we're a technically led organisation. We've got 60 people at Parallo, of which 50 are technical, right? The rest are admin, sales and marketing. So when we came back and told him the picture, I think he thought that he was going to lose control of how the product was going to look, rather than we didn't take him on the journey to tell him how our customers were going to feel. So it wasn't a huge pushback, but it was a little bit of a hiccup in the way that he looked at us. Probably now that you mentioned it, if I break it down a bit, it was probably a fear of losing control over his business to a certain extent. Because we came back and we haven't really talked about it or hammered there in this talk, but we created the growth team, right? That was something we did at our level and our level of management, right? It wasn't something that the CEO thought of. So I guess I don't want to paint a picture of Simon. He's a fantastic entrepreneur, and he's brilliant, does lots of talks, and he's a very motivational guy. But I think that he thought that he might have been losing a little bit of control, and I hope he's not seeing this recording.
So can I just add to that though? So yeah, definitely, part of coming together, you don't just align, right? You all have different expectations, and there has to be conflict. And so part of that thing of coming together is around building a team of trust. So understanding that you trust each other, understanding that you're all in it together, and then you can have the hard conversations, because there's going to be conflict. And when that conflict happens, you need to know it's not personal. It's you're trying to get the best outcome from the customer. And so we're still working through that, and we still have that conflict, and that conflict is good. So yeah, it's not all plain sailing, as they say, but embrace the conflict. But if you trust each other, then you're trying to get to the same outcome. And those different points of view are important.
Cool. Hey, thanks very much, guys. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.